And with Halloween sneaking up on us tomorrow, that means pumpkin carving has been on everyone's mind throughout the month of October. Medical reporter Barbara Morse shows us why hand surgeons are putting out a warning about that.
Identified about 20,000 that showed up over 9 years. So it's a pretty common thing. 90% of those happened in the last 2 weeks of October.
And it's mostly children between the ages of 10 and 19.
It's really tempting to take that really large butcher knife and kind of say, oh, this will be easy.
Until
you either drive it through the pumpkin and through the other side into your hand, or it slips off the pumpkin and it lacerates the hand.
Doctors Christopher Gott and Joseph Gill are hand surgeons at University Orthopedics in Rhode Island. First off, if your child is under the age of 10, you do the carving, or better yet, paint the pumpkin for those 10 and older.
These small kits are great. You can cut yourself. They're not foolproof, but you have to work a lot harder.
You would open up a small area, and then you can use these variable size blades to kind of make your way across the top. Again, not super sharp, but sharp enough to open up the top of the pumpkin.
If you or your child gets cut, tend to it as quickly as possible. Check for numbness or persistent bleeding.
If bleeding happens, the nerve is right next to the vessel. So a lot of times in the young kids, you can't necessarily, they won't tell you they're numb because it'll just be one part of a finger they won't necessarily be feeling for.
Anything that kind of persistently gaps open is something that would be worrisome, just for risk of, infection, and making sure that people, have appropriate tetanus boosters and things like that, depending on their age.
Another thing to avoid, putting actual candles inside the pumpkin. Just trying to light them, especially if there's a breeze, can cause burns that may require a trip to the ER. Our doctors say opt for those tiny battery-operated candles instead. I'm medical reporter Barbara Morse.